The dramatic world of The Bold and the Beautiful has once again thrown the characters into a whirlwind of emotions, deception, and shocking revelations. In an unexpected twist, Will Spencer has made a decision that will set off a chain of events that no one saw coming. His upcoming wedding to Electra Forrester, which was meant to be a joyous occasion, is thrown into turmoil when a buried truth comes to light, one that will change everything for Will, his family, and his relationship with Bill Spencer. The latest twist involves a shocking revelation regarding Luna Nozawa's pregnancy and a set of manipulations that no one anticipated. Will Spencer's wedding day is supposed to be a moment of celebration, but instead, it turns into a moment of betrayal and confusion. Will's decision to marry Electra Will Spencer, after a long and tumultuous journey with Luna Nozawa, made the decision to move forward with Electra Forrester. The news that Luna was not carrying his child should have been a relief, but it also opened the door for new opportunities and challenges. Having dealt with the stress and pain of the situation with Luna, Will thought that marrying Electra would offer him the fresh start he desperately needed. Electra had been a constant support throughout the turmoil, and their love had grown over time, leading to Will's proposal. Their relationship seemed to be on the right track, and the couple began preparing for a whirlwind wedding. But what Will did not know was that Bill Spencer, his father, was pulling strings behind the scenes in a way that would soon shatter everything Will thought he knew about his life. Bill had already made sure that Will was out of the loop regarding the true paternity of Luna's baby. It wasn't until Will was deep in the process of organizing his wedding to Electra that the truth about his father's deceitful actions would come crashing down on him. The shocking truth about Luna's baby. The most shocking revelation came when Will found out that Bill had orchestrated a lie to cover up the true paternity of Luna's child. Bill had manipulated Bridget, a trusted member of their family, into falsifying the paternity test results, ensuring that Will would believe the baby was not his. It was a masterful deception, one that had been executed without Will's knowledge. In reality, the child Luna was carrying was Will's. Bill had orchestrated this lie to protect Will from the truth and to distance him from Luna's increasingly chaotic situation. Bill's motivations, however, were murky. He had his reasons for wanting Will to be kept away from Luna and her troubles, but it was clear that Bill had gone to extreme lengths to control the narrative surrounding his son's life. As Will was preparing to propose to Electra, eager to start a new chapter in his life, he was blindsided by a series of events that would completely change his course. While in the midst of setting the stage for his marriage, Will saw something that shook him to his core. On a screen at the venue, a video was played that showed Will and Electra during their early days of dating. The video was meant to be a heartwarming moment, celebrating their love and commitment. But the mood of the moment shifted quickly when the footage changed and a new clip was shown. The video revealed Bill Spencer, his own father, handing money to Bridget. The money was being exchanged for the falsification of the paternity test results for Luna's baby. Will watched in shock as the betrayal unfolded before him, realizing that his own father had lied to him, manipulated the entire situation, and made him believe something that wasn't true. Will's shock and betrayal. Will was devastated by the revelation. He had trusted his father, believed in him, and relied on him throughout the chaos surrounding Luna's pregnancy. To learn that Bill had gone to such lengths to deceive him was more than Will could process in a single moment. The wedding that was meant to be a celebration of his future with Electra quickly turned into a nightmare. The shock of the betrayal rattled Will to his core, and the anger and confusion began to bubble to the surface. The questions raced through his mind. Why had Bill done this? What was his motivation? Why had he gone to such extremes to keep Will away from Luna and the child that was rightfully his? Will, unable to ignore the magnitude of what he had just seen, immediately halted his proposal to Electra. The joy he had felt moments earlier was replaced with frustration, confusion, and a deep sense of betrayal. He could no longer focus on his impending marriage when the truth about his father's actions hung over him like a storm cloud. Instead of walking down the aisle with Electra, Will made the decision to confront his father. He needed answers. He needed to understand why Bill had done this to him and why he had lied for so long. Confronting Bill Spencer. Will's confrontation with Bill was inevitable. With a storm brewing inside of him, Will stormed into the Spencer mansion, demanding answers from his father. Bill, ever the manipulator, was ready for Will's questions, but he couldn't hide the guilt and tension that hung in the air. Will wasted no time, confronting Bill about the video he had seen and demanding an explanation. He accused Bill of lying to him, of trying to control his life in ways that were manipulative and underhanded. Bill, caught off guard by Will's sudden anger, tried to defend his actions, but his justifications fell flat in the face of Will's anger and disappointment. The tension between father and son reached a boiling point as Will accused Bill of trying to manipulate him for his own gain. Bill, however, continued to claim that he had done what he thought was best for Will. He believed that keeping Will away from Luna's child was the right thing to do, especially given the circumstances surrounding Luna's actions. But Will was having none of it. He couldn't understand why his father would go to such extreme lengths to keep him in the dark about the truth. The emotional toll of the conversation left Will feeling more betrayed than ever. Not only had Bill lied to him about the paternity of Luna's baby, but he had also tried to control the narrative of Will's life in a way that was damaging and manipulative. Will was forced to confront the truth. The man he had always trusted, his own father, had deceived him in ways that would take time to fully comprehend. The fallout. Will's decision in the aftermath of the confrontation with Bill. Will was left with a sense of emotional devastation. The impact of the revelation was far-reaching, and it would take time for him to process everything that had happened. His relationship with Bill was forever altered, and the trust they once shared was shattered. Will was left with more questions than answers. But one thing was clear. He could no longer ignore the truth. He had been kept in the dark for far too long, and the time had come for him to make some difficult decisions about his future. The fallout from Bill's deception would also impact Will's relationship with Elektra. She had been caught in the crossfire of Will's emotional turmoil, and while she understood the gravity of the situation, it was clear that the road ahead would not be easy. Will was forced to choose between his father and the woman he had planned to marry. His heart was torn, and the emotional weight of the situation was too much for him to bear in such a short amount of time. As the days passed, Will found himself at a crossroads, uncertain of the future. His relationship with Elektra, once filled with promise, was now clouded by the deceit of the past. His trust in Bill had been shattered, and the path forward seemed unclear. The decision he had to make was not just about his relationship with Elektra, but about who he was as a person and how he would navigate the complexities of family, trust, and betrayal. In the coming weeks, the drama surrounding Will's wedding, his family dynamics, and the fallout from Bill's lies will continue to unfold, leaving fans of The Bold and the Beautiful on the edge of their seats, eager to see how Will ultimately handle the betrayal that has rocked his world. The storm of emotions, deception, and family drama is far from over, and Will's journey toward understanding the truth and rebuilding his relationships will be anything but easy. But one thing is certain. The Bold and the Beautiful has once again delivered a storyline filled with high stakes, emotional depth, and the kind of twists that have made the show a fan favorite for decades. In the world of The Bold and the Beautiful, the stakes have never been higher. Tensions between family members, unresolved love triangles, and the relentless pursuit of happiness continue to unfold in dramatic fashion. But one of the most poignant storylines currently circulating centers around Beth Spencer, the young daughter of Hope Logan and Liam Spencer. Beth's recent behavior, especially her constant push for her parents to reunite, has raised eyebrows among both characters on screen and viewers at home. Fans of the soap opera are already speculating that the sweet, innocent child could soon face a heartbreaking realization, a disappointment that mirrors the tragic experiences of another child in the Forrester family. Douglas Forrester. Beth's desire for a family reunion in the latest episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful. Beth has become an unexpected catalyst for the drama. As a child caught in the middle of her parents' fractured relationship, she has been vocal about her desire for Hope and Liam to get back together. Despite the fact that Hope is now engaged to Carter Walton, Beth continues to push her father to reconcile with her mother. In a recent episode, the young girl sat down with Liam, expressing her longing for a united family. With childlike innocence, she insists that she wants nothing more than to see her parents together under one roof, living as a complete family. Beth's determination to see Hope and Liam reunite is both touching and, for many fans, heart-wrenching. Her innocence and purity of heart only serve to highlight the deep divide between her parents. Hope and Liam, though still caring deeply for one another, are navigating their own complicated emotions. Hope is engaged to Carter, a man she deeply cares for, while Liam remains somewhat entangled in his feelings for her, despite the years of hurt and betrayal that have plagued their relationship. For Beth, however, none of that matters. All she sees is a family that was once whole and a dream of seeing them back together again. The growing frustration and expectations on Beth as the episodes continue. It becomes increasingly apparent that Beth is becoming fixated on her parents reuniting. While this is entirely natural for a young child to desire, it also raises questions about the underlying implications for her character's arc. Some fans have begun to express concerns that the show might be setting Beth up for a major disappointment, as it's clear that the reunion of Hope and Liam is not as simple as Beth might imagine. It's a classic soap opera setup, one in which the innocent child's dreams are dashed, not through malice, but through the harsh realities of adult decisions. Fans have taken to social media to discuss their thoughts on Beth's role in the current storyline. Some have expressed frustration with the way the character is being written. One viewer commented, "Beth looks like a little robot child, not a real kid. The way her parents talk to her also seems fake and scripted." This comment speaks to the growing disconnection between the character of Beth and her portrayal as an emotional anchor for the adult characters. In soap operas, children often serve as plot devices more than actual characters, and viewers are starting to see Beth's role as a means of stirring up drama rather than giving the young character a fully fleshed out storyline. Another fan expressed similar sentiments, writing, "Children in soaps aren't really kids. They just spit out bad dialogue and make family scenes a bit more wholesome." The concern among viewers is valid. Beth's consistent push for a reunion between Hope and Liam is becoming a plotline that could eventually lead to her own heartbreaking realization. Her parents might never be able to return to the family dynamic she desperately wishes for. This sets the stage for an emotional blow to Beth, one that may take her through a journey of grief and understanding about the complexities of adult relationships. A storyline that could prove to be as emotionally impactful as any romantic entanglement. Carter Walton's role in the drama. Meanwhile, the dynamics between Hope, Liam, and Carter Walton continue to complicate matters. Carter, who was once engaged to Hope, is now in a delicate position. Despite his deep feelings for her, Hope is torn between Carter and Liam. The emotional tug-of-war between the two men leaves Hope in a difficult spot, as she doesn't want to hurt either of them but cannot ignore the undeniable chemistry and history she shares with Liam. On the other hand, Carter has been a constant in Hope's life, offering her stability and a different kind of love, but as much as he cares for her, Carter knows that Hope's heart belongs to Liam in some fundamental way. While Carter remains a solid, dependable figure, he faces criticism from fans who see him as opportunistic. Some believe that he is too willing to sacrifice his own happiness for the chance of a future with Hope, even though it's clear that she still has unresolved feelings for Liam. This dynamic has stirred up a fair amount of controversy among fans, with many questioning Carter's true motives. Is he truly in love with Hope, or is he simply seizing an opportunity in the wake of Liam's own emotional turmoil? Hope's struggle and the reality of co-parenting. Hope's struggle to balance her feelings for both Carter and Liam adds layers of complexity to her character. She genuinely cares for Carter, but the love she has for Liam is undeniable. The two share a daughter, Beth, and this connection ties them together in ways that Hope cannot easily escape. Hope's decision to continue her engagement with Carter, despite the pull toward Liam, reflects her internal conflict. As much as she wants to move forward with Carter, the idea of a complete family with Liam is something she can't shake. This is where Beth's insistence on a family reunion becomes a painful reality. In the latest developments, Hope has tried to remain firm in her commitment to Carter, but the emotional push from her daughter and the complicated history with Liam are forces she cannot ignore. There is an undeniable pull between Hope and Liam, and as Beth continues to innocently push for their reunion, the weight of the situation becomes too much to bear. Hope's attempt to keep everything together for Beth's sake could eventually fall apart, leading to more heartache not just for her, but also for her daughter. It's a situation that is bound to disappoint, and the writers seem poised to turn Beth's dreams of a perfect family into a painful lesson in the complexities of love, separation, and reconciliation. The disappointment looms for Beth as the story continues to unfold. Many fans speculate that the show is setting Beth up for a heartbreaking realization. Just as Douglas Forrester was once thrust into a situation where he had to contend with the fractured family dynamic of his parents, Beth may soon face the same fate. Her innocent desire for her parents to reunite, her hope for a family that is no longer possible, will likely lead to a significant emotional blow. While she may not fully understand the reasons behind her parents' separation, Beth will soon learn that relationships are far more complicated than she ever imagined. In a way, Beth's storyline parallels the experiences of many soap opera children who are often forced to navigate the emotional fallout of adult decisions. Beth, like Douglas before her, will have to come to terms with the idea that love is not always enough to keep a family together. Her disappointment will be one of the key emotional turning points in the series, and viewers will no doubt be left with a heavy heart as they watch her process the dissolution of her idealistic vision of family. The emotional fallout for the Forrester and Spencer families as Hope and Liam's relationship continues to evolve, and as Beth's innocent hope for family unity is tested, the emotional stakes for the entire Forrester and Spencer families are raised. Hope and Liam's decision-making will ripple throughout their families, affecting not only their relationship but also the dynamics with Carter, Beth, and even other key characters like Steffy Forrester. The pressure to make things work for the sake of their daughter will weigh heavily on Hope and Liam, and the consequences of their choices will be felt by all involved. The Bold and the Beautiful has always excelled at creating deeply emotional and dramatic moments, and the storyline involving Beth's desire for family unity is sure to be a heartbreaking chapter in the saga. While Beth's innocent optimism may make her a symbol of hope for many, it's clear that the reality of her parents' situation will lead to disappointment. As viewers brace themselves for the fallout, one thing is certain: The Bold and the Beautiful will continue to captivate its audience with its mix of love, betrayal, and the enduring search for happiness.